Welcome to College Sport Check for Tuesday, December 29th. Program note, next College Sport Check update will be Saturday morning, but then next week after the New Year's, College Sport Check returns to its normal evening schedule, and we're going to do Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So first we'll go over the college football CSC Bowl update, and then we'll take a look at college basketball. Alright, so college basketball scores and schedules. First, the scores. Alright. We'll start with Saturday, which was the 26th. Alright. There was the St. Petersburg, first started with the Sun Bowl, Miami and Washington State. Washington State winning 20-14. Then the St. Petersburg Bowl, Connecticut and Marshall winning 16-10. The Pinstripe Bowl, after a controversial bad call from the officials, Duke wins this one 44-41. The Independence Bowl winner is Tulsa, defeating Virginia Tech 55-52. The Heart of Dallas Bowl won by Washington, defeating Southern Miss 44-31. And then the Foster Farms Bowl, Nebraska defeating UCLA 37-29. And then yesterday, on Monday, the Quick Lane Bowl, Central Michigan and Minnesota. Minnesota winning 21-14. The Military Bowl, Navy and Pittsburgh. Navy winning 44-28. On tap for tonight, okay, at the Armed Forces Bowl. That game is I think it's that game is done the way it's the Armed Forces Bowl, California and the Air Force. Okay, then at 5:30, that game is actually on ESPN. Also ESPN at 5:30. Okay, it's the Russell Athletic Bowl, and that's going to be North Carolina and Baylor. And then at 7:30, it's the Arizona Bowl, Colorado State and Nevada, and that's on ASN. And those are the games for Tuesday. Then Wednesday, okay, Wednesday starts with the, alright, at 12 noon, the Birmingham Bowl, Birmingham, Alabama, and that's going to be Memphis and Auburn, and that's at 12 noon, ESPN. And then at 3:30, it's the Belk Bowl, NC State and Mississippi State, 3:30, ESPN. 7 o'clock, it's the Music City Bowl down in Nashville, Louisville, and Texas A&M, and that's at 7 o'clock, ESPN. Then at 10:30, the Holiday Bowl, Wisconsin and USC, 10:30, ESPN. All right, and then January 1st, okay, of course, we got the New Year 6, the Peach Bowl, December 31st, okay, at 12 noon, and that's going to be Florida State and Houston. And of course, the Orange Bowl at 4 o'clock, Clemson and Oklahoma. And then that's at 4 o'clock. The Cotton Bowl, Alabama and Michigan State. Hey, that's at 8 o'clock, New Year's Eve, and that's on ESPN. And then January 1st, of course, the big one will be the Rose Bowl, number 5 Iowa and number 6 Stanford. That's 5 p.m. on ESPN. Before that, at 1 o'clock, it's the Fiesta Bowl, Notre Dame and Ohio State. That's at 1 o'clock, ESPN. Let's see, and then at 8:30 on New Year's Day, it's the Sugar Bowl down in New Orleans, and that's going to be Oklahoma State and Ole Miss. Okay, that's on ESPN at 8:30. Number 16 Oklahoma State and Ole Miss ranked number 12. Now, also on January 1st, the Outback Bowl down in Tampa. That's at 12 p.m. on ESPN2. That's going to be Northwestern and Tennessee. And then there is the Citrus Bowl. Okay, that's going to be number 14 Michigan, number 19 Florida. And that's at 1 o'clock. That game is actually on ABC. Then January 2nd, okay, which would be this Saturday. Alright, first game on Saturday would be the Tex Slayer Bowl down in Jacksonville, Penn State in Georgia. That's at 12 noon, ESPN. And then at 3:20, it's the Liberty Bowl, Kansas State and Arkansas. Okay, 3:20 ESPN. at 6:45, it's the Alamo Bowl. Number 11 TCU, number 15 Oregon. That's on ESPN. And then at 10:15, it's the Cactus Bowl, West Virginia and Arizona State, and that game also on ESPN. Right, so that is that. Okay, and then we'll be back on Saturday to update the scores, and good stuff. All right, so that brings us now to college basketball. Okay, we'll also have the school rankings. We'll do that today. So here is the college basketball scores for Sunday, Monday, and Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Actually, only one game on Saturday. That was the big one, Louisville and Kentucky. And Kentucky win this one, 75-73. Although a lot of folks might have thought Louisville might tie that one to get it into overtime, but Kentucky wound up winning this one, 75-73. Kentucky climbed up to 10th place, and Louisville dropped down to 18th. So we'll get to that in a moment. So here are the scores, okay, from Sunday, for Sunday, Monday, and so I had some games today, but here are the scores from Sunday and Monday college basketball scores as follows. Maryland defeating Marshall 87-67, Marquette over Presbyterian 84-66, Syracuse over Texas Southern 80-67, Fairfield defeats Bucknell 101-91, VCU over Liberty 85-57, South Dakota State defeating Middle Tennessee 65-61. Ohio State over SC State 73-57. Radford defeating Central Penn 123-63. Fairfield over Bucknell 101-91. Southeast Missouri State defeats Harris Stowe 94-84. Fresno State over Pacific Union 89-46. Northwestern over Loyola Maryland 74-59. And Stanford defeats Carroll College 83-38. And those are the scores from Saturday. For Monday, as follows. North Carolina defeating North Carolina Greensboro 96-63, Butler over IUPUI 92-54. Villanova defeating Penn 77-57. Penn had a rough start to that game on Monday. Duke defeating Ellen 105-66. Houston over Nicholls State 76-49. TCU defeating Delaware State 75-47. All right, let's see. Arizona defeating CS Bakersfield 75-59. California over Davidson 86-60. Michigan defeating Detroit 88-73. Oakland over Chicago State 101-93. Stony Brook over New Jersey Institute of Technology 83-61. And then New Mexico State and Wichita State, that game was postponed. South Dakota defeating FGCU 89-81. UC Riverside defeating Morgan 81-72. Utah over College of Idaho 115-74. Brown defeating Bethune-Cookman 81-73. Western Kentucky defeating Brescia 93-66. Okay, some other games on top. Some more scores. Iona defeating Drexel 77-70. Grand Canyon over SIUE 86-75. Green Bay defeating Morehead State 78-72. Eastern Illinois over Hannibal LaGrange 78-53. Cornell defeats St. Petersburg 65-62. Columbia over Howard 72-59. Boston University 89-63. Longwood over Cairn 90-52. Rutgers over UMass 89-66. Weber State over Multnomah Bible 114-47. High Point defeating Methodist 96-50. Army defeating Monmouth 91-84. Sacramento State over Pacific Union 78-49. Louisiana Tech defeats Prairie View A&M 77-58. Winthrop over Rio Grande 116-84. Hofstra defeating Sacred Heart 80-73. Texas A&M over Austin Peay 74-70. Belmont defeating Valparaiso 85-81. Gardner-Webb defeating Middle Georgia State 101-78. And it's news yesterday, Hall of Famer and Globetrotter Meadowlark Lemon, who passed away yesterday at the age of 83. Some games on tap for tonight, for Tuesday, okay. Alright, so starting at, we had a bunch of games that were already played today, okay. And it was Tennessee Martin, Florida Atlantic, okay. You also had Tulane and Mississippi, Tennessee State and Tennessee, alright. And then also Temple Cincinnati played today, alright, and Texas Southern and Baylor. Some games on tap though. At 5 o'clock, it's SMU and Tulsa. Okay, that's on ESPN 2, ESPN 3. And then Liberty and Notre Dame, also at 5 o'clock. And that is on ESPNU, ESPN 3. Here are some final scores from today so far. Okay, Temple defeats Cincinnati 77-70. Baylor over Texas Southern 72-59. Eastern Kentucky defeating Manhattan 76-64. Vermont over Siena 73-64. UAB over San Francisco of Boston 76-66. Tennessee defeats Tennessee State 74-69. Tennessee Martin over Florida Atlantic 57-48, and Memphis defeats Tulane 77-65. So at 7 o'clock tonight, it's Purdue and Wisconsin, Big Ten Network. Florida State and Florida at 7 o'clock, ESPN 2, ESPN 3. Also Tukusne and Georgia Tech, ESPN 3. And then it's Princeton and Miami, ESPN 3. Northeastern and North Carolina State, ESPN 3, ESFC. Wake Forest and LSU at 7 o'clock, ESPNU, ESPN 3. And these are all 7 o'clock games, and some more 7 o'clock games. Robert Morris and Georgia, the Colonials and the Bulldogs, ESPN 3 and the SEC Network. Alabama A&M and Ball State, ESPN 3. Delaware and Buffalo, okay, it's on ESPN 3. Marist and Jacksonville, also ESPN 3. Again, those games are on for 7 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, it's St. Louis and Kansas State, ESPN 3, ESFC. Some other games for Tuesday, also at 8 o'clock. Jacksonville State and Alabama, ESPN 3. Cal Poly, Texas A&M, ESPN 3. And then Northern Illinois and Illinois Chicago, UIC. That's on ESPN 3 as well. And those are the 8 o'clock games. And for 9 o'clock as follows, the Michigan State Spartans and the Iowa Hawkeyes on the Big Ten Network. UConn and Texas, okay, ESPN 2, ESPN 3. UC Irvine and Kansas, the Anteaters and the Jayhawks, that's ESPNU, ESPN 3. Richmond and Texas Tech on FSN, and then Arkansas, Pine Bush, and Missouri, the Golden Lions and the Tigers, and that's ESPN 3. And those are the 9 o'clock games for Tuesday night tonight. Wednesday's college basketball TV schedule as follows. At 12 noon, it's West Virginia and Virginia Tech, ESPNU. At 4 o'clock, Long Beach State and Duke. 4 o'clock, ESPN 3, ESPNU. Penn State and Maryland at 5 p.m., ESPN 2, ESPN 3. 6 o'clock, Oakland and Virginia, ESPNU, ESPN 3. 7, Clemson and UNC, ESPN 2, ESPN 3. Coppin State and Idaho State at 8 o'clock. Let's see, at 7 o'clock, okay, 7 o'clock, it's Seton Hall and Marquette, Fox Sports 1. Minnesota, Ohio State, Big Ten Network. Rhode Island and Brown, ESPN 3. Northern Kentucky and Toledo, ESPN 3. Morehead State and East Tennessee State, ESPN 3. And those are the 7 o'clock games. A couple that we skipped. At 1 o'clock on Wednesday, it's Indiana and Rutgers, ESPN 2, ESPN 3. At 2 o'clock, Houston and South Florida, ESPNU, ESPN 3. 3 o'clock, it's Michigan and Illinois, ESPN 2, ESPN 3. And Northwestern Nebraska